Hey guys, it's Glenn from Glenn's Car Collection. We have a real interesting comparison for you today. The S54 M Coupe, 2001 BMW M Coupe versus the new GLA 45 AMG. And this is certainly an apples to oranges comparison, but these cars do have enough similarities that I think it would make an interesting comparison test. Let's look at the similarities between the GLA 45 and the M Coupe. Well, the first thing you see here are great seats in the M Coupe. These seats really hold you in place, and a nice cockpit. And what do we find in the GLA 45? With these optional Recaros, even better seats. And also a great cockpit, a nice place to spend time in. Here's what the S54 M Coupe is really known for. This magnificent S54 six-cylinder engine. This high-strung engine revs out to 8,200 RPM approximately and produces 315 horsepower in a small little car. This AMG has a 2-liter four-cylinder that produces, depending on the year, 355 to 381 horsepower. So again, a high-strung engine in a little car, but in this case it's turbocharged instead of normally aspirated. Another thing they both have in common is they are both hatchbacks. You can fit a lot of stuff in this hatchback. You also have a little security shade. You also have this mesh, so when you hit the brakes, nothing comes flying forward. This is obviously manual hatchback. You actually have to press it and open it, and then the Mercedes has a power one. Okay, let's demonstrate the power one in the Mercedes. You just press the button and there's your hatchback. Rear seats fold down. They don't on the M Coupe because obviously it's just a two-seater. And then there's your hatchback. It's actually a pretty big trunk. It's hard to tell from the picture, but you've seen my other videos that my hockey back fits there too. You could set this at any height you want, and I always have it at the maximum height because I'm tall and I hit my head otherwise. You press the button and it closes for you. All right, we're going to start the S54 M Coupe. There's no push button start here. This is 2001. You actually have to start the car yourself. It's also old school here with the services like the old BMWs. I was just serviced, so you have the 5 green lights. The green light goes away until you get to yellow, which means you can make an appointment for service, and red means to actually service the car. Very functional interior here with everything you need from your gas to your speedometer to your odometer and temperature. 52,000 miles on this car right now. It's dusk here in December, so we'll try to drive and not hit any deer. You have all the functional gauges down here. Very analog car. Of course, this is a stick shift and not a dual clutch. And of course, this is rear drive instead of all-wheel drive. Well, let's take it for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the S54 M Coupe. It's dusk here. This video was shot in December, so let's try to get a drive in before it gets too dark. And let's watch out for deer. We live in a wooded area. So now the S54 engine is really, I love normally aspirated engines where the GLA 45 is so quick on that turbo and really can go over any road surface with those electronics. This is really old school. To be as quick in this car as the GLA 45, which you can be, you need a lot more driving school. This car basically gives you the tools, and then you figure it out from there, where the GLA, like the M2, is really, anybody can be fast in it, and you can really go, you know, on a real race, on real roads with potholes and stuff, it'd be hard to beat that GLA just because of the electronics and the all-wheel drive. Here's rear-wheel drive, you just have to work for it. So this is probably a more rewarding experience because you have to get it right, but you do have to work for it here. So we're in fourth, we're gonna go down to third, rev match, go around these turns, hit the gas, and that turn we were not even at 5,000 RPM, and this engine still has 3,000 RPM to go. Unlike the Mercedes where you'd have to shift at 6,200. I have a TMPS sensor out, and that's why you see that flashing light, but the tires and everything is good. So driving on normal roads, it's actually smoother than the Mercedes. This is a lowered car with suspension, and even with 19-inch aftermarket wheels, 17s are standard, this still has a really smooth, really good ride. So I would even say the ride quality is better than the AMG. I think BMW does the best suspensions where it's stiff enough to get a great ride, but also comfortable. Where, you know, even AMG or any other brand, when they do a sports suspension, it's really too stiff for the street. That was 6,000. Still had 2,000 RPM to go, and you know, we were really moving. Now the GLA, you can put it in comfort mode. There's no comfort mode for this car. It's you know, essentially a sport mode car all the time. There's no adjustability that you get in the GLA 45. So as a daily driver, you know, the GLA, you can put it in comfort mode, run out, get milk, do your commute, and it's a normal everyday car, albeit a stiff one. With that suspension and the Recaro seats holding you tight, you know, you don't think you're in a C-Class, you know that you're definitely in a sports car. This M Coupe is really a unique car. It's very small in here. I'm 6 feet, and this car does have a sunroof, but I feel like I don't have much headroom. You probably wouldn't be able to be 6'3" and comfortably fit in this car. You do have these tight hugging seats that are standard. They're not as good as the Recaros, but they are probably a little more comfortable because they're softer. Now this engine always wants a motor. With the GLA 45, with that turbo, you really have power at any speed. We're here with the M Coupe, you really have to rev it out to get the most performance out of it. This car is more focused than the GLA 45, which is really meant to be a daily driver, where this is kind of like weekend sports car all the way. This wasn't designed to fit more than one person. It wasn't designed to go to the supermarket. It's really a focused weekend car. These cars were, even the S52 models, which in the United States were 99 and 2000, were such good track cars out of the box. That's where you saw a lot of these cars. Back in those years, early 2000s, I autocrossed through track days every weekend, and there were a ton of these cars with roll bars in it. Now the S54 models came later in the range. This is an 01, 02s are also S54s. You know, they only made 678 of these, so it's really a visceral experience. If you ever get a chance to buy one, this is a good place to park your money because these cars will only appreciate. If you've seen my other videos about buying a sports car in October, November, that's when I bought this car, October, about a year ago, when this video was actually shot in December, but 14 months ago. And this car, I probably got it for $10,000 under what it was worth because of that time of year with the winter coming and the seller not having a place, needed garage space. And this car has probably gone up $20,000 in the 14 months that I've had it. And I think it's going to continue to go up about $10,000 per year. They're not making more of these, and as people appreciate what special cars these are, you know, this is going to have its time, especially 10 years from now when this car, or 15 years from now when this car is 30 years old. That's when they kind of hit their peak value. So again, for some back roads like this, we're on the main road now, we're just going to get on a back road. You'll see how great this car handles. Every time I drive this car, I go, wow, I gotta drive this car all the time. And again, it's not your daily car, it's not your grocery getter, but an amazing car you can take out on the weekends. This car was built for some of these back roads that we're about to drive on now. And again, it's rear-wheel drive, so it's a lot more alive. You know, the Mercedes certainly has the electronics that can work work on every road surface. So like I said before, this car, you really have to work for it. You got to be on a heel toe to get the most out of it. The pedal alignment is perfect for heel toe, so you should have no problems there. I highly recommend heel toe or learning to do it if you have a manual transmission. This car really just conquers these roads with the rear wheel drive and the stick shift. And this has hydraulic steering. Obviously the Mercedes, the AMG, like every new car, has electronic steering. And though the steering is good, when you come in and analyze a car like this, you really see what good steering, hydraulic steering, can really be like, and what we're missing now that we don't have it. So if you want to collect some visceral sports cars, starting with cars in the 90s and the 2000s is a great place to start. This is probably the pinnacle of hydraulic steering in the early 2000s. And a manual transmission car is very fun, going up and down through the gears. You don't have to be going fast to have a good time. We're getting to rev the motor out here. The higher RPM we go, the more power we're getting out of it. We don't have to exceed any speed limits to have a good time. My complaint always with dual clutch transmissions is they work best at red line, so you find yourself going over the speed limit because you want to get to the next shift and the next red line and the next one and the next one. We're here just buzzing around in some of these back roads in second, third, and fourth gear is a ton of fun, and I can be going 40 miles an hour and still having a great time. Heel toe every time you downshift. We can't go in red here, so we'll just wait. But this beautiful, I guess it's still fall, even though it's December. It's not officially, it's not December 21st yet when we shot this, but here's a great car that you can enjoy. Maybe not 12 months a year like the AMG, you throw winter tires on it, and it can be your daily driver through winter. This is more focused, so it's your weekend car. If you had one of each, you could probably really have the best of both worlds, because the AMG to me is almost like a daily driver version of this S54. They both have great engines, they're both hatchbacks, they're both very visceral cars, and with both of these cars you get a lot more than you expect. If you see the clown shoe like this, they call these M Coupes clown shoes, or shoes, because they look like a high top sneaker. You'll definitely get a lot of attention because of the looks, but I don't know that everybody knows how good the driving experience is, especially with the S54 cars. The good thing about finding one of these cars for sale, even if you're looking for an S52, is they're all stick shifts. You don't have to worry about, well, they didn't have dual clutches back then, but you don't have to worry about automatic cars. Every single car you find will be a 5-speed manual. So even behind some slow SUVs here, going much less than the speed limit, we're still having a great time going through the gears, enjoying this M Coupe. The steering is just spot on. It's so phenomenal with the hydraulic steering. Rolling through the gears up or down, even at legal speeds, is still a fantastic experience. This car, just because of the looks, attracts a ton of attention, where obviously the GLA 45 probably would only attract a car enthusiast's attention. The regular GLA is a crossover, so it's higher up. The GLA 45, I believe, is an inch lower, so it certainly looks more like a hot hatch or a hot wagon, if you will. But this M Coupe attracts attention wherever it goes, and constantly getting photographed, people filming me, or if I'm stopped at a light, I just look out the window and somebody's just staring with their mouth open. It attracts a lot of attention for younger M4 buyers. I've seen 20-year-old M4 buyers stop me at a light and say, "What is that?" And they're obviously BMW enthusiasts. And then when I tell them it's a BMW, they're shocked. And then when they ask what year it is, I tell them it's 2001, and their mouth drops. They were probably born in 2001, I don't know. But they've never seen anything like it. And that's probably the shame with all new cars now being electronic and all turbocharged motors. This is probably, the pinnacle of naturally aspirated engines, and obviously stick shift, hydraulic steering. It has all those in one. And even if an M Coupe is not in your price range, definitely check out this S54 engine in the E46 M3. There's 20,000 more, 25,000 more of these than there are the S54 M Coupe. But you'll at least get the same engine. And if you need to carry people in the back, the E46 M3 is a great choice. All right, so we'll head back now, and in part 2 we will draw our conclusion. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and share.